I don't know if you remember this, but the president of the United States, Joe Biden, kept saying, we're going to cancel your student loan debt. Now, that was unconstitutional. He knew it was unconstitutional, and it was told it was unconstitutional by the Supreme Court twice. And yet he still continued to say, don't worry, we're going to repay your student loan debt, with, by the way, is the least progressive thing that progressives have ever advocated for. People who attend college generally make more money than the average American household. And so effectively, the progressives were going to try and bail out the people that make more money by using the people who make less money's tax dollars. Again, doesn't make sense to me at all. But as a part of that, 1 in 4 student loan debt repaying Americans are now behind on their payments. I can only assume it's probably because the former president was saying, don't worry about it. And they're getting thrown off guard. Let's bring our panel back. Siaka and Lily are here. Guys, Siaka, I think, look, I don't necessarily, it's hard because I want to have sympathy for somebody who's like, oh shoot, I bought what the president of the United States said, but at the same time, like, you got to pay back what you owe. Like that makes sense. I don't know. What are you thinking about when you're hearing stuff like this?
I'm thinking, thank goodness I was good at football and I got a free scholarship to college. But it's also a sign of, look, man, a lot of these people, and unfortunately, a whole lot of women on the left, they decided to go to school, get into hundreds of $1,000s of debt, and take basket weaving, underwater mermaid, BIPOC studies. And it's like, that's probably not going to help you pay back these loans. But, we got the adults back in the room. Daddy's back, Daddy Trump, and he's going to want to find out why these bills are where they are. I think it's time. This is going to be a hard transition for people, but we can't be living off the government anymore. Let's go.
Let it be known here that Siaka says that mermaids are in fact BIPOCs, which was a big topic of conversation on the conservative side not all that long ago.
I wanted to clear up both sides in one statement, and you got it. I appreciate that. Nice work, bro.
Lily, this is like, okay, again, it's hard to have sympathy because you got to pay what you owe. But at the same time, 1/4 of people are behind, which is causing huge hits to their credit scores, up to like 200 points going down. Is anybody going to pay a political price for this? Because Joe Biden obviously is irrelevant nowadays, but there were so many people out there telling everybody, you don't have to pay this, you don't have to pay this, you don't have to pay this. And when people don't pay it, bad things happen. I don't know. What are we supposed to do about this?
Yeah, this is a tough one because the people who are going to suffer are not the ones who have to foot the bill at the end of the day, say we don't have to pay, because of what Biden has done and said. And even if we do pay, it's coming out of our tax dollars anyway. The people who are really going to pay for this, though, is whenever these people are on first dates and the question comes up, do you have any debt? What kind of debt do you have? It's going to be a really uncomfortable conversation when they have to say, yeah, my credit score is at a 300 and I'm multiple payments behind on my student loan debt because the Biden administration reliably told me that I don't need to pay them anymore. So I think that's going to be a really uncomfortable conversation. And at that point, each person can take it as it comes. But if I was a man dating a woman who was so far behind on payments and had such a bad credit score, that'd be something I'd consider, not only because of the financial implications of that, but about that person's general intelligence. You hear something that the president says, and then you stop paying a loan that you have.
Yeah.
Imagine, let's replace college with a car or a house. If you heard from Donald Trump, yeah, nobody has to pay their loans on cars if they're American vehicles anymore. Do you really stop paying your car loan? Do you think your credit agency or whoever's giving you your loan is going to forgive you for that? Don't be dumb. I mean, really, truly, don't be dumb. It says a lot about your general intelligence if you just stop paying because the president tells you to.
Yeah, no, seriously, it's kind of a problem. And while I don't disagree with anything you said, Lily, if you're going on first dates and the questions are, hey, where did you grow up? Also, what's your credit score? It's hard to put myself mentally there in a first date scenario.
You're also dating a pretty responsible guy. Then lock that down. If he's worried about your credit score, lock it down.
Well, here's the thing. I recently had a conversation with some influencers in the conservative space, and they asked me, when is it appropriate to ask how much a guy makes? And I said, you really shouldn't do that on the first date, definitely. But you should at least kind of back into the conversation of, okay, what's your credit score? Because that really does tell you a lot about a person. And you got to know, you got to assume you're being lied to because everyone's putting their best foot forward on those first dates and, even on the second and third dates. And you got to do your work. Trust but verify.
I would never lie about my credit score, but it's well over 2,000.